Good morning, it's Ryan, and on today's video, we're gonna go off exploring around Pigeon Forge. I'm not sure exactly where. I think we're gonna go check out the old mill. There might be a big giant tree that they're taking down we might check out. And I've got my bike in the back of my truck, so maybe go for a bike ride somewhere. If we perhaps make it into Cades Cove, we'll see what's going on in Cades Cove, maybe look for some bears. So Brie is actually doing some school with the kids, so I'm just gonna go out. I'm not sure exactly where we'll end up or what we'll check out, but I figured this would be a great opportunity before we get a lot of rain to get out, get some steps in, or to get on my bike and go explore a little bit with you guys. So I figured I'd just hit record and bring you along with me as we go exploring around Pigeon Forge. So I've made it to the Patriot Park parking lot over here in the Old Mill District. Let's go for a walk over to this giant tree they're taking down. So they've got a crane and they are cutting it section by section apart at the moment. So I was just chatting with somebody from the old mill and they did confirm my suspicion, which was that this particular tree was just starting to rot and they didn't want it to be a liability and fall on someone or something here on this corner. So there are a few highlights of them working on getting this tree taken down. I did notice over here at the pottery house, it's currently closed. It says that it will reopen on Thursday, February 6th at 11 a.m., but they're definitely getting a little bit of a makeover at the pottery house. It says you can still eat at the old mill, and it looks like they're still doing a lot of work on the bridge right now. So you can still get over to the old mill, you just can't utilize this bridge to do so. So we'll try to keep you posted as to when this reopens and you'll be able to cross over to get to the old mill district. But again, the old mill, the distillery, it looks like all of the shops over here are open, including the Iron Mountain Metal Craft. I see some people making some different knives in there. But I figured I'd just bring you by and give you a few highlights of this tree coming down, which I know will be sad for some people. It's been here for a long, long time. Unfortunately, with it rotting for guest safety, they needed to take it down so it doesn't fall on anyone. So I think what I'm gonna do is head over to Cades Cove, go for a little bike ride, and then I'll perhaps come back and show you what it looks like when the tree is completely gone once they're done. Since the bridge over by the old mill is closed, we can still cross over this Jake Thomas Bridge. Let's head over here to the main parkway and head towards Wares Valley Road. You can see there's really not too many people on the road at 10:20 on Tuesday morning, February 4th. Yesterday was a beautiful day. It was really sunny, and it looks like the sun is trying to come back out today. As I'm driving along, it looks like there's a lot of things open. There's just not a lot of people at the different stores or restaurants. The Pirates Voyage that we just passed says that their next show is Friday. So it looks like they're not doing any shows during the week, just on the weekends. So as we turn on to Wares Valley Road, GPS says that we're 1 hour away. So next stop, Cades Cove. So we have now made it to Townsend. We're gonna take a left to head towards Cades Cove. You can see there's just not many people in Townsend right now. Looks like they're doing a little bit of work along the side of the road. Yeah, it looks like a lot of different repairs to the sidewalk. As we come up to River Rats and the Burger Master. Our next stop should be the Townsend Y, which I see some people down by the water. I don't see anyone in the water. It is a warmer day, but not that warm. That water is still going to be very cold. Let's take a right, work our way down this road to Cades Cove. Got some people going down to the river over to the right by this little tunnel that we're going through. Just passed by a bunch of park rangers. Looks like they have an ambulance out here. I think they're probably doing some different drills, simulating somebody's hurt and they need to respond to them out here on this quiet day. So we have arrived, just passed by the campground. I didn't see anyone at the campground. I normally would go to the campground store, but we're actually gonna go up here because there's hardly anyone here at the moment. I could drive through the loop, but I do want to get some exercise. So let me park and get my bike out. So I'm just going to pay $5 for the day. So now that I took care of parking, let me go chat with these guys and see what's going on at Cades Cove today. So I did just chat with the park rangers. They said that they finished up all the prescribed burns yesterday. We might see a little bit of smoke. I already see some deer. Perhaps we'll find a bear or two. I don't know what we're gonna find, but I'm excited to go get some exercise with you guys out here in Cades Cove. I'm wearing a t-shirt. The sun is out. So there are definitely some people that are coming to drive Cades Cove. The nice thing about the bike is I'm able to stop anytime I want on the side of the road. And the goal is to get some exercise on the bike, but let's get a closer look at these deer over here. 3 bucks right here. Beautiful. Just right in the field, right when we entered into the loop. It's an absolutely beautiful day. Ah, it feels so good to be out here in the sun, in the cove. Got a little bit of water on the path here. Try not to get too wet. Oh, it looks like a bunch more deer out in the field. I count 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here to the left. If I go around the corner, if you can see them a little better. Yeah, you see some smoke as we come down to Sparks Lane. Let's come around the corner. You can see where they were doing a burn yesterday over here on Sparks Lane. Let's see if we can come over and get a closer look at those deer. Just wanted to stop real quick and give you a look at this section of Cades Cove that they did some prescribed burning of yesterday. Looks like they burned this whole section in the middle of Cades Cove as well. I'm not sure how well you can see it on the camera, but off in the distance Do you see a little bit of smoke coming up and some other sections that we'll get a closer look as we go around. I see some more deer down here walking through the burned area. So this field in the middle is pretty well burned, and it looks like they did some burning over here on the right. So I've seen pictures of them doing burns at Cades Cove, but I've never seen it black like this right after a burn. Even all black and burnt, it's still beautiful to be out here. Passing by the Methodist church. A few people out walking around the graveyard. Looks like the right was not burned, but this left side was. You can see the contrast from the left to right side. So I could turn down Hyatt Lane here, but I think we're gonna do the entire 11-mile loop. So let's continue on. Baptist Church. It looks like this area was not burned. I could check out the Pearl Harbor tree, but I'm just gonna try to keep moving along. Sun's out, guns out. I would genuinely be surprised if we do see a bear. They don't hibernate as people think they do. They're just less active, so I don't think we'll see one at 11:30 in the afternoon. But you never know. Even if I don't see a single bear, I'm having a great time, and I hope you are having a good time going on this bike ride. If you have been enjoying this video, do us a big favor and simply like the video. It's a great way to support us, to let us know to keep making more videos just like this. Looks like we got a hold up here on the bridge. I see why everyone's stopping. There's some turkey right up here on the left past the bridge. Got a turkey jam we're working through. This poor guy in the back's got a little bit of a hobble to his step. Pretty. So I think I'm going to take a right here at the Cable Mill Historic Area and Visitor Center. I'm going to go use the restroom and see if I can actually catch the store back here open. Every time I'm back here, I always seem to miss it. There's a couple of people back here. Let me park the bike. Let's head up here to the Cades Cove Visitor Center and see what they have inside. So they got some stickers, some t-shirts, and some hats over here, along with some different canned goods. I love this photo up here. It's a baptism in Cades Cove from 1915. Got a whole kids corner area with lots of different stuffed animals, obviously some bears and some little Lego type blocks over here with a block bear, deer, and Kauai Dome. So they packaged these up before they changed the name, as it says Klingman's Dome on the package. And there's some books over in this section, and above the fireplace is this photo of Cades Cove in 1936. It says corn, corn, and more corn. And it looks like the field that we were just checking out that they did a burn on yesterday. And this Smoky Jack book caught my attention. I think Micah might enjoy reading this. It's The Adventures of a Dog and His Master on Mount LeConte. I know Mike is pretty excited to go pick up our dog on Saturday. They do have these collars and bandanas, so when we pick up our dog, she could become a bark ranger. So there's a quick look at the store. Every time I've been here, it's either been too early or too late. So it's kind of nice to walk around and check out the store. It looks like they're doing some work over here. Let me go see what they're doing. So it looks like they're currently rebuilding the flume over here that goes over to the mill. They said that it's just been completely rotting and falling apart and leaking, so I don't know exactly when they'll be done, but maybe the next time you come out here, you'll have a nice water flume up and running that you can get up closer to. So from the visitor center, let's continue on the loop. There's still a chance we could see a bear. Just gotta take it nice and slow down some of these areas on bike. But I'm okay with going slow because that gives me more opportunity to kind of look around and see if we can spot a bear. This is where we saw a bear last time I was here. And just see some crows. So we made it back over to Hyatt Lane, which seems to be the dividing point. So everything to the right of Hyatt Lane here, they burned on the interior. So as we come up to Dan Lawson Place, it looks like they set up a table to answer questions. Let's go up and chat with them for a moment. I found some park rangers and volunteers that are happy to answer our burning questions. Mr. Jerry, what have you guys been doing here at Cades Cove?
Well, since we had a controlled burn yesterday, we're just here answering people's questions about the burning process and why we do it and how we do it.
A lot of people are probably wondering now, like, what's the purpose? Why was this cleared out? What does that help prevent in the future?
Yeah. Well, the burning is part of the Park Service's management plan for keeping these fields and meadows open, so the so that you get a taste of the cultural and historic area. The fact that this was a thriving farming community in the 1800s and early 1900s. If we didn't do anything, these fields would grow back to forest, and you'd never know that there were 134 families that lived here.
So these are kind of the tools of the trade. That is it. The forestry department comes in and does the burns.
Well, there is a National Park Service fire department here within the park, and then they bring in folks from the U.S. Forest Service and also from came across from the Cherokee, from the Indian tribe over there, to be part of the crew that worked on the burn.
So there was a burn yesterday. How often do burns typically occur?
They're right now on a 2-year rotating schedule. They burn about half the cove each year. And so next year they'll burn the western half of the cove.
And then my last question would be for like wildlife. Do you guys notice any patterns that change when that occurs? Do they kind of stay away for a little bit, or how does that work out?
Yeah, they tend to stay away, but it's not the mass terror that you see in the film Bambi. They know to stay away.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerry, so much for your time.
My pleasure.
So now that we've stopped for a moment here, let's get back on to the loop and continue on. So there are definitely some people that are driving by me, but for the most part, I almost feel like I have Cades Cove to myself too a little bit. Obviously there are people up at the stores we were just in, but as we're riding along here, I don't hear anybody. I don't see anybody. It honestly kind of has a little bit of an eerie vibe, given that I'm used to seeing so many people out on the road, and it has this whole scorched earth vibe over here. And I've been around a lot of fires as a firefighter. It has a very unique smell that's still in the air. And I don't know if it's because of the accelerant they use or something. I'm sure when they were working on this field and burning this section, they were being real careful to keep the flames away from the little structures we're about to pass by. So here's a look at Cades Cove on this beautiful afternoon. I don't know exactly what the temperature is at this moment, but it feels phenomenal. We're getting closer to the end as we come up to Tipton Place. Let's go for a walk over here and get a couple more steps and check out this building that we were just looking down at from the hill. This is part of Tipton Place. I'll walk around to the left here. You can see how close they had their burn. So we got this structure right here, and you've got this little tiny stream right here that's almost a natural fire break. So looks like they were burning right up to the stream, and could probably just have somebody monitor and make sure it doesn't jump over the river and get to any of these structures. We drive by this a lot when we do biking, but I'll have to come back here and have Micah climb up to the top. We saw the tree getting cut down back by the old mill. They recently had to close down Cades Cove last month for a couple of days to do some tree management here as well. You can see this massive tree that they determined was at risk of potentially falling into the road. So they went ahead and got this one taken down. Getting closer to the end. Another look from this other side of the field. I know we saw the deer walking through the field earlier, but I would assume after yesterday's burn, a lot of the animals kind of stay away for a little bit, because if I can smell it, they can smell it. Looks like there's a little bit of a hot spot down in the corner here of this field. Looks like they still have a little hot spot over here with this tree still on fire over by the river towards the end of Cades Cove. Looks like they're doing a little work on the side of the road here, trying to make sure that the little streams can flow under the road well. Let's see how empty the parking lot is here at the campground store, which I assume is closed. Yep, I see the sign, store closed. The restrooms are closed. Looks like they've got newspaper in the windows, so perhaps next time I come back and do the loop with Brie or Micah or whoever I do it with, we'll stop in here and share an ice cream. So I did just confirm that the campground itself is open. They just closed down the store and the restrooms over here for the winter until March 1st. They'll be open again. So we're almost back to where we started. This is just so beautiful. Ah, such a blessing to be out here. I made it back over to where I parked my truck. So I'm gonna load up the bike and head back over towards the old mill. So we've made it back over to the old mill district, and the tree is completely gone here in front of the old mill pottery house. Well, technically the tree is in pieces over here that they still need to move away, but here's a look at where the tree was. We were watching them take apart earlier. It definitely has a whole different feel now that this tree is gone across the street from the old mill. But I just want to give you a little update of what's going on here in Pigeon Forge before we headed over to Cades Cove. That's going to wrap up this video checking out the Old Mill District and Cades Cove. I hope you guys have enjoyed coming with me. If you did, simply hit that thumbs up button, and until next time, I'll see you on the next adventure.